Yo, what's up guys, how you doing? Welcome to the part 2 of how to make Pringles in Cinema 4D. I am Ayo from Peratons. Alright, let's continue from where we stopped. As I said earlier in the part 1, I will be using Octane to texture and render this. Alright, so let's fire up Octane and drag it to the side. Alright, so now let's send our scene to Octane. Alright, so now we have our scene in Octane. So let's just quickly make a stage, like a regular normal basic stage. So we could cancel this for now. Let's still work on this now. So take your pen tool to come over to the your right view and just drag, hold shift, then drag. Alright, so now you can disconnect points, and now we want to select this point, then right click on chamfer, and we increase the radius right here. Alright, so now this is what we have. So now we would put this and extrude it. So while holding Alt, you put it in an extrude, and so we want to make this 0. And increase this. And increase this. So we're increasing on the x-axis, and so we could just increase. Let's just make it like 5,000. Alright, so we have our stage. So we could just make this editable. Come in here and connect and delete objects, and let's put the anchor points in the center. Alright, so now let's center our stage. So we just put this in the center, and there's a little trick I always like to do, which is I always like to make my objects like fall on the surface of this. So what I do, first off, let's take this up, this and this. So we take everything up. Alright, so now what I do is we have to group this two. So Alt and G to group. So now we put a rigid body tag on this, and we change the tag to compound collision shape. Make sure individual elements is off, and make sure you have this too, and then you change this to collider body. You add a collider body tag, and so when you press play, oops, it falls off, right off. But what we're supposed to do is we go to the collider body tag, and the collider body tag, and then what we do is compound collision shape, and we take this to static mesh, and so when we press play, it falls. But now we will just have to move this downwards a little bit so it doesn't fall too far. So it just stands right on it. All right, so now that we have it standing, we can delete the tags as we don't need them anymore. All right, so now this is a pretty good stage, right? Okay, so now we can put Octane back and put it right here, and make sure you always save, because sometimes when I use Octane it crashes my system, like it crashes Cinema 4D. And so the best thing for you to do is to always save your work as you go on. So Ctrl S to save. So now when you fire Octane, we have this here. All right, so let's throw in a camera, an Octane camera, and go into it. I would like my camera to keep on facing front, so I would add a protection tag to it. And so even if you try to move, you won't be able to move because it has a protection tag on it. So now we can exit from the camera so you'll be able to see your scene very well. And now let's add an Octane glossy material. We add okay, no, let's just add one. Double click, go to your node editor. We can cancel this, and now we want to drag in our Cinema 4D cover art, sorry, our Pringles cover art right here. So now let's start with this one. This is the original, so let's start with this one. All right, so we drag it in, and then so we plug it to the diffuse, then also plug it to the specular. Okay, no, let's plug it to the roughness, and then the specular. We're going to the specular, and let's just reduce it a little bit. It's just okay around here. It's good. 0.25 is all right. So now that's pretty much it. No complex nodes and stuff. So now what we want to do is we apply this on the cylinder. Now if you notice, it's looking kind of weird because we the texture is looking kind of stretched, too stretched actually. So what we want to do is we want a UV transform. So we go back into this, and we want to click a UV transform, and now we can edit how this looks with these functions here. So now this is we can check this off, the lock aspect ratio, because if this is on, when you scale, it scales everything, as you can see, and it makes everything tileable. So what we want to do is uncheck that, and so we can scale this only on the x-axis. So probably we'll just make it 0.5. Okay, so let's rotate it and see. Oops, sorry. Let's rotate the can and see. Okay, so I think this is This is pretty cool. All right, so now that we have that sorted out, let's hide the cover for now, and let's still work on this. We still have a little bit of issues inside the can. So now let's make a new cinema for the octane material, and we want to change the color. Better still, we go into the node editor, we add a RGB spectrum, we change the color to this kind of color. It's like yellowish white, gray kind of color, and we plug that into the diffuse, and we need to take down the roughness, take down the specular, and also bump up the roughness a little bit. Okay. I think we need to edit this also and make it a little bit darker. All right, okay, I think this is good. So now we want to add this to the inside of the can. So we would select this UL, select inside, and then we click on this, double right click and click on add. Now as you can see, we have the inside. Oops, sorry, we were supposed to click on this also and apply. All right, so now that we have this sorted, I think it's looking pretty cool. Now we need to add this there's this silver lining kind of thing on this edge and the one down, so we need to add those ones too. So we come to our front view, we click on the rectangular selection, make sure these two are checked off, and we select this, hold shift, select this. All right, so now that we've selected both, now you see we have, okay, I think we could also actually make a loop cut here. Let's make sure symmetry is checked on. So we make a loop cut here. All right, so now we have to reselect here and here. Sorry. Deselect this. Okay. Now that we've selected this, now we need to create a silver-like material for this. So now we click on, we click on Octane Glossy, we go to the node editor. Now we add an RGB spectrum, then we make it like 7% black, plug it to the diffuse. We go to the index and make the index like 6, and now we add a gradient. We add a gradient and make this gradient complex, and I think we delete this, just hold and drag down, to delete, and then we plug this in the specular. Alright, so now we add another RGB spectrum, 2 RGB spectrums. Drag one here, hold Control and duplicate. We plug this in the start and plug this in the end. Alright, so we start with a white and then end with a pitch black. Alright, so now we add a float texture and plug it to the input. Alright, so now we go to the roughness. We add a gradient, another gradient. And we plug it to the roughness too. And we put in an image texture, plug it to the inputs, then add a UV transform, and UV projection. Alright, so now I guess we are good to go. We have our silver right here. It's looking a little bit metallic, so we could always just play around with the index to give it various looks, and also you could also play around with the float texture, give it various looks as you want. Alright, so I think I'm gonna stick with this. So now we are going to apply this to the top of our model. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, I think we could throw in a subdivision surface right here. So we hold hold Alt and put in a subdivision surface. But now it's making the texture look a little bit weird. So I think we need some subdivisions. So KL, make sure you are in your polygon mode and make sure symmetry is checked on too. We cut here, probably cut here, cut here, cut here. Okay, so let's see how it looks like with symmetry, with subdivision. Okay, so I think this is good. It's pretty good. Okay, I think we have the inside too. We need to make the inside, and so we cut here, and we could just increase, and just cut here. All right, so I think it's looking pretty good. Pretty good. All right, so now we are done with the can, and let's move over to the cover of the can. Okay, so we can hide this for now, and let's turn this on. So let's make the cover. The cover most times is always white. It's always white. So let's throw in an octane specular material. Let's apply it to it, and let's go to the node editor, add an RGB spectrum and plug it to the roughness. And now we make the RGB spectrum something around just a little bit towards the ash color, and let's plug it to the reflection, because we do not need a lot of reflection on the cover. And so maybe I'll just make the color this. Okay. Alright, so I guess that's it. So we have our cover. Okay, I think there's something we're supposed to do. Maybe we could play with the index also. So, alright, yes. So let's make the index maybe 2.5. Alright, now I think we're getting it. And that's the cover. So we could drop this now and see we have the basic shape of everything, and it is textured. So let's add a texture for our background, and let's just use an octane glossy material. Let's make it light blue. Okay, and let's reduce the specular, increase the roughness a little, and apply. And so when we go to our camera, this is what we have. It's looking really, really good. Really, really good. I do not want this tutorial to be too long, so we would have to make a part 3, and in the part 3 I would be showing you how to make the Pringles itself and how to animate it coming out from the can. Alright, please make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, share with your friends. I am Ayo from Paratoons, and keep making stuff.